Ladies and gentlemen, they said Marvin Harrison Jr. was going viral for the wrong things, but he seemed to have bounced back today. And what was going on? We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. You know, around here, we don't keep receipts. We keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref, where I keep you up to score and everything sports, hip hop, and hot topics. And who's the hot topic today? Who's on the board? Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. this week basically was going viral for the wrong things. And they was talking about he was out there dropping the ball. And we all know who his father is. We all know, right? And, you know, I mean, they had the clips. The clips was going viral. And when I looked at the film, I was like, wait a minute, what are they talking about? This kid is solid. You know, he's a professional. And when I looked, I said, wait a minute. I was looking at the actual plays because I thought that he was just, they were making it sound like he just was lost it. I was seeing like little things saying, listen, Marvin Harrison is cooked. And I'm like, what? He just got in the league. How's he cooked already? You know how people are, clickbait. And then when I went to look at the video and to see what the big hubbub about, I really wasn't that concerned. I looked at this footage right here and I looked at it and I'm like, this was just concentration. That's all it is, just concentration. He might have had something. That was timing. That's a bad throw. And then this play right here, that's timing. That's a bad throw as well. This play right here is just a good play by a defensive back. So I'm just saying things like this happen. Look at it. Look at this. That's concentration right there. That's what that is. That's timing. I didn't like that ball. Had a lot of mustard on it. I didn't like that one. That one was out in front of him. That's timing. That's just him getting chemistry with his quarterbacks. That's all that is. When you look at these plays, that's all it is. I wasn't concerned at all. I said, wait a minute. He's getting a raw deal here. Wait a minute. He's getting a raw deal. Look at these plays. That's concentration. He should get that one. But that's timing. It had a lot of mustard on it, too much. This is timing. That's just getting chemistry with the quarterback. That's an awful throw. That's a good play by a defensive back. And this right here, that's timing. That's a floater. Why is that ball even that high? And this is just a good play. That's a good break on the ball by the defensive back. Just look at these plays. The quarterback, that's a good throw. That's a good throw. That's supposed to be caught. That's this timing. Too much mustard on it. Another one out in front of him. Behind him. It's the good play by defensive backs. Yeah, I'm listen, a lot of this can go on the quarterbacks. That's just timing. Because in a play like that down and in, he's not even supposed to be having to jump for a ball going inside like that. That ball is supposed to be down where the defensive back can't get to it. It's supposed to hit him in his numbers. So it was only one play here that I seen that was even worth, everybody getting upset about. It was only one play, and that was the concentration one. But they said that he bounced back today and had a great day. It showed what kind of pedigree he has. See, like this play right here, this is a good play by a defensive back, and that ball was late coming out. This one right here, that's the only one he's supposed to get. Every other ball was terrible. Was terrible to me. A lot of mustard on it. I didn't like it. That's behind him. Nah, man. And that's not even a quarterback throwing to him as well. That was one of those plays. It looked like it was the wide receiver coach. And that ball right there, that's a floater. That's a floater with him jumping for the ball like that on an in route. That's late. He was one step from being out of bounds. Why was that? That ball should have been left. That right there, that play right there. The down and in. The down and in play was the only one I seen that he should have caught. That right there is out in front of him. That's a bad pass. Another bad pass. Good play by defensive back. And right here, that's a floater. That's an awful ball. Man, I think everybody's getting upset for nothing. I think everybody in Arizona was getting uptight for nothing. I know what they expect out of him. You know, he's a top draft pick. His father, Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the best to ever do it. Okay, one of the best to ever do it. So I know y'all have high expectations for him. But I don't think that y'all should be, you know, getting uptight or worried about, you know, whether he's cooked or not. I thought that was a little premature. And there's a lot of irresponsible platforms out here as well. When you're talking about somebody like the pedigree that he has, you think that his father didn't call him or he didn't call his father, and his father said, look, man, just, you know, hunker down and let's go do this thing. You know what I'm saying? You think he didn't get good advice from his father in moments like this? I think y'all would just blow things out of proportion sometimes just to get a story. I don't like that. That's irresponsible by platforms, in my opinion. You gotta, you see things like this, and if when you evaluate them and they look like we're looking at them right now, where some of these things are not even quarterbacks throwing to him, and some of these quarterbacks are throwing terrible balls. Like, I mean, they say you get your hands on it, you're supposed to catch it, but some of these balls are not good throws. I know this sport. I played that position, and I know some of these balls are late coming out. That's a floater right there. That's a floater. That's a high ball on a down and in route. That looked like it was about a 20-yard in. That ball's not supposed to be high for several reasons. For several reasons. Because in a game, truly, that ball probably would have been intercepted. If the defensive back would have been hanging off in some type of zone, that ball would have floated right into the defensive back's hands. And not to mention, he has safeties coming from his inside. So that ball is supposed to be down. It's supposed to be in. It's supposed to be hitting them on the numbers. That's a horrible pass right there. Horrible. And not to mention, you're putting your receiver in harm's way, and he's being exposed. Another late pass going to the sidelines. The defensive back had his best friend, Sammy Sideline. That's what they call it. His best friend was Sammy Sideline. So he was running out of real estate on that out pattern, and the defensive back knew it. All he had to do was break on the ball. There wasn't anywhere else for him to go. That ball was supposed to have left 2 seconds earlier where he could catch it and then possibly make a move, not just run out of bounds. He might have been able to turn around and get some yak yards. You understand what I'm saying? We all know the NFL rules now. When you catch a football, you got to make a football move after the catch. We know the rules. Come on, these guys have been briefed on the rules in the NFL. They know exactly what's going on. And the quarterback does as well. See that pass right there? That's from his special teams coach. That's from his position coach right there. But this ball right here, oh, that's awful. That's awful. He's not even expecting that to be a jump ball on an in route. Who does that? That's a bad pass by a quarterback that could not make that throw. That right there, that one right there, that down and in, that's the only pass that you can even think that could have been caught and him be responsible for. I only see one. And then they said today he came back and had the best day that he's had since he's been in camp. That's what good athletes do with his type of pedigree. They bounce back. So y'all got to lay off of Marvin Harrison Jr., man. Lay off of him. He comes from good stock. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get it right. He could probably got focused. He probably was frustrated with the quarterbacks that's been throwing on the ball and not saying anything, because you can't blame everything on everybody else. Them guys are trying to make the team, you know what I mean? And then there's no telling who's throwing on the ball at this point. It looked like I want to say Jacoby Brissett, but I'm not sure. But in any event, it ain't Tom Brady. You know what I mean? It's not Tom Brady. It's not somebody he can go to and say, or somebody go to him and be like, look, we got to get our timing down. Because obviously it looks a lot like the timing is off there. And I'm pretty sure they will get that timing down to a science as the season goes on. But Arizona Cardinal fans, man, I don't think y'all have anything to worry about. What's all the hubbub about? All these platforms looking for a story. Looking for a story. And then what happened? He comes right back the next day and make you a liar. That's why we're not premature on making judgments like saying like that he's cooked. We would never say anything like that. I mean, this is an athlete, man. And he has that dog in him, and you can never count him out. That's the last thing you want to do. Only thing you're going to do is make him better. But now that everybody has a microphone and a camera, they're going to be looking for a story because they're looking for viral clicks and things like that versus them reporting the information, with some type of decorum and some type of respect for these athletes. And like I said, as I'm watching this and I'm looking at it, only thing I see a lot of bad passes, and I see a few not even from the quarterback, like that one right there. That's not a quarterback throwing him the ball. That is his position coach, and it's behind him, well behind him, and he knew it. And then there you have a floater. So that's all about him. And you got to think, Kyler Murray's not there anymore, so he's learning and gaining cohesion with his new teammates at one of the most important positions in sports, which is quarterback. Because Kyler Murray now is in Minnesota. So you guys, man, I think y'all are just, looking for a story. Shout out to Marvin Harrison Jr., man. You a stud, bro. You're going to be fine. You don't have anything to worry about. And I'm pretty sure you ain't worrying about it. I'm pretty sure your pops done called you already when he heard this story in private. He's like, yo, man, what's going on up there? And you probably said nothing. And he said, all right, we'll get back to business as usual. And that's what we expect from an athlete like him. And like I said, he has good pedigree. He comes from good stock. And I don't expect anything less than him getting it together on a very, very, very high level. And it's going to be up to those quarterbacks because he's the best receiver on the squad that you're going to have to get that timing down with him now that Kyler Murray's not there. So you can blame a little bit of this on the organization, and you can blame a lot of this on these media outlets and media platforms that are putting this information out there. But as far as we're concerned over here on the Scoreboard Keepers and the Ref, I can tell you right now from watching this film, and I'm pretty good at looking at film and breaking it down, I can tell you right now, Arizona Cardinal fans, you have zilch to worry about. This guy's going to be around for the next 10 years. Are you kidding me? He probably already is running the best routes, at camp, and these quarterbacks can't handle it. Look at these breaks. Look at that break. He had separation from that defensive back, and the ball was late. Look how open he is. Look at that. Those are nice, good, crisp routes. Boom. Plant inside, and the ball is way too hot and is way behind him. So I could arguably say that, which a lot of people don't do, is that it is the person throwing him the ball that is the problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Get down below in the comments. Let me know how you feel about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his drops and his bounce back today as of Friday. And let me know how you guys feel about it. I think he's going to be fine. Definitely probably going to have a great year if him and his new teammates can get it all together. Losing a quarterback is not easy. Somebody that you built chemistry with, you have to reestablish that now. So I think he's going to be fine. So if you guys think something different, then let me know. I know he's definitely not cooked for sure. But that concludes this episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref. Once again, if you haven't already done so, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Marvin Harrison Jr. You're a stud dude, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great, great, great career out there in Arizona. A great career. You're just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref. Until the next episode, God bless. Score. Peace. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a beast, man. He comes from good stock. Are y'all crazy?